Hey, hey, hi, and hello there, lovies. What's happening? Welcome back to Talks with Her. I am so grateful that you all are lending me your beautiful, amazing, perfect ears on this fine day so that we can continue to lock arms and walk and talk together. I'm so happy, y'all. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm so happy to be in a space where we can just talk freely. You know, I'm happy. So I want to exude my happiness and hopefully give you some of this happiness, give you some of this feel good energy. Okay. I want to transfer it on to you. Okay. And now listen, if you're not happy right now, well, that's all right. You gonna get there. You gonna get there because we gonna get there together. Okay, so let's keep locking these arms and walking and talking together because that is what we do. So let's go ahead and get into it because I don't want to hold y'all. I want to keep the energy flowing naturally. Now, the last episode we were talking about how certain things showed up and how they show up in us. And I was sharing with y'all that for me, distrust, shrinking myself, and a performative nature is what I developed in childhood. And so I gave you my story time, and I give you just a little tidbit more, right? But I'm gonna just sprinkle it all throughout all of the rest of our time because, child, I got stories for days. Okay, so we gonna chop it all down because this is the calling that God gave me. God gave me the calling to utilize the real things of my life, and just tell it, right? If I did it, I say I did it. So just tell it, and that's going to help somebody. That's going to connect somebody. That's going to love on somebody. So here I am being all obedient and everything. Okay, but so here we go. so once again, how did the things that I learned in my childhood, how did they permeate throughout my adulthood? Like, how did they show up in my life? Well, simply put, it showed up as distrust in myself. It showed up as shrinking myself. And it showed up as a performative nature, as I told y'all, right? So what does distrust look like? Well, it looks like forced fits. It looks like, forcing relationships, forcing friendships that are no good for me because I knew they weren't no good. I knew that something in my spirit said that person and me were not tied. Like, we were not supposed to be, this was not my people. But I continued on, right? And I can't narrow it down to, one specific relationship, one specific romantic relationship, one specific friendship, one specific family relationship, because it crosses all bounds and borders, just like with you it does, right? There are people that have come passing through in my life that should have never been there. And that's all those areas. I have, friends that shouldn't have been friends. I have romantic partners that shouldn't have been romantic partners. I have family that shouldn't have been family. Oh, y'all didn't think that we was going to get into that? Yeah, we get into it, right? I wrote the book about family because every family member is not necessarily, your people, right? And so we don't often talk about that because it's, for whatever reason, it's tied to so much shame. But it's the truth. And it doesn't, do anybody any good to call out this one or that one or whoever. But some people are just not organically tied. Some people are just not your people, right? So that's how it shows up. Distrust shows up in forced fits because you're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting your discernment. That's how it showed up for me. I wasn't trusting my discernment. The shrinking, well, now, honey, that's a completely different show up, if you will, okay? Because the shrinking shows up as, a struggle to feel accepted. I was watching something recently, and the young lady was talking about mental health and us Black women. And she was sharing her experiences with dating, and then she started talking about negging. And I know all too well how negging feels, because, like most of you, I'm very ambitious and thus very successful. When I set my mind to something, it's done. It's you could already take that to the bank, right? It's already done. Like, are you still talking about it? Okay, we over here now. But anyway, and keeping with that, because I'm that way, I notice in romantic relationships, the men that I was allowing around me some of them had the tendency to, give a compliment that wasn't really a compliment. Right? So if something positive, if happened in my life, if I achieved a goal, it would be, oh babe, I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness. Okay, well now now you can take this on, or now you can take me with you, or you're so bomb, you're so amazing, everybody thinks this of you, so let me just fall back and let you do what you do. I'ma just go on over here and handle my. And at first pass, you don't think that those things are backhanded compliments. You don't think that those things are negative, but I promise you they are. So that's how it showed up. Because when you experience those types of interactions with romantic partners, with friends, even with family, then you start questioning whether or not you should feel as you are. Okay, can we talk some real shit now? Now notice I didn't say like, you start to question yourself. No. No. Yourbomb.com. Ain't nobody fucking with you, right? But you just got a bunch of people around you who, for whatever reason, don't like match up to how you feel about yourself. So then in order for you to kind of navigate in that world, you got to do one of two things. You either got to clear everybody out around you, or you got to shrink yourself to fit what's palatable to them. And for me, it was the latter. It's the second thing, shrinking to be palatable. Because as a child, again, when you learn to shrink yourself, then you learn that you're too much. Right? You're just too much. Your personality is too big. Your charisma is too big. Your goals is too big. Your dreams are too big. The essence of who you are is too big. You just the most, right? You're just doing the most all the time. And so the truth of the matter is there's nothing wrong with doing the most. Like, there is nothing wrong with that at all. Like, somebody tells you or somebody told you that, you are bad, or you are whatever, that there's something negative about that. But there's nothing negative about being the most. If you are, doing the most, being the most, your personality is big, your charisma is big, your goals are big, your dreams are big, baby, do you. And anybody who is not like, cheering you on to, girl, you ain't thinking big enough. Okay. if you the biggest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, baby. And so what we learn is not that, I'm in the wrong, I need to get in bigger. What we learn is to shrink ourselves. And that's how it shows up. It shows up as you shrinking yourself. So that's how it showed up for me. And then there is that pesky ass performative nature. Now, that performative nature, I call it pesky because, you know, it, how do I say this? It gives you this, it feels almost organic, right? The struggle feels almost organic, but it's not. It gives you this lie, right? These are all lies, by the way. They're all like tricks of the devil, okay? Distrusting yourself. Actually, let me run that back because that's very important for you to understand. Distrust in yourself, shrinking yourself, and a performative nature. Those are all tricks of the devil. Hear me, okay? Hear me. Those are all tricks of the devil. Your organic person, that's the truth. Your truth is where your peace is, it's where your strength is, it's where the essence of you is. So all of this other stuff like these are tricks of the enemy to keep you from actually achieving, your destiny, achieving your dreams, achieving your goals. It's all lies. Basically, it's just lies, 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 lies. Okay? And so this performative nature, gosh, it's probably the biggest struggle of them all. Because I'll be honest, even in the moments that I distrusted myself and the moments I was shrinking myself, I knew what I was doing. I knew that, there was always something about my spirit that said, no, that ain't the way, right? Even when I was actively distrusting myself or actively shrinking myself, there was always something that said, no, that's not cool, right? But that performative nature, ooh, that one is a bitch because she don't let up. Okay, she is the most difficult to conquer because what it does is it creates a struggle. You're constantly in a struggle to feel accepted, a struggle to feel understood. You are always, because you are struggling to feel accepted and struggling to feel understood, you are labeled as things that don't apply to you. For me, I was labeled as combative. I was labeled as, angry. I was labeled as doing too much or being too much. I was even labeled as being dishonest. And baby, listen here. One thing is for damn sure, and two things is for hella certain. One thing I'm not is no goddamn liar, okay? And so that's always been like the triggering point for me because I'm like, what? I ain't got to lie about shit. If I did it, I say I did it. What you gonna do? Right? And so that's the piece that is so difficult to deal with as far as tackling being performative, okay? And it shows up in our lives in the way that we try to fix shit that don't need our fixing. That relationship with that guy that is not treating you the way that you know deep down inside you desire to be treated, but you still keep hanging on. You still keep, working it out. You still keep making it. You still keep trying to look for what you did, what you might be, what you did. And listen, I'm not picking on you, baby, because I am the poster child for that shit. Okay? When the truth of the matter is, you didn't do anything. You're not wrong for anything. The damn man just can't love you the way that you need and want to be loved. It's just not working. And it doesn't make him bad, doesn't make you bad. It just is not for you. But instead of you saying, hey, this is not for me, I'm gone, you stick it out. You try to make it work. You try to make it fit. You try to fix it. You try to, you go through in your mind, well, what did I do? What am I doing wrong? What can I do better? Nothing. That person, whether it's that man, whether it's those friends, whether it's that family, whoever, they just don't love you the way that you need to be loved. That doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them wrong either. They're just not free. They're wrong for you. They're just not right for you. Period. Dot. right? And so we often just let these situations drag on because we don't accept the fact that this is not for me. I'm struggling with this. I don't like it. I am having to defend myself, defend how I feel, defend what I think, and I shouldn't be. If this is what I want for my life, then it's my responsibility to go get what I want from my life, not anybody else's. Hey, here's who I am. The other person says, okay, cool. Either they say, yes, I accept you exactly as you are. Let's run it. Or they say, well, no, I don't like this, and no, I don't. Okay, no problem. That's not your people. Move along. See, it sounds so simple, but it's so difficult to do. So difficult to do. Because as little kiddos, we learn to perform. We learn a performative nature. I did, and I'm not the only one. I know some of y'all did too. So that's what we're talking about here, because that's how it shows up. Now, when you have these things kind of battling and wrestling and tangling, like just always fighting, your spirit is just always fighting. When you have these things fighting with your spirit, let me tell you what this actually feels like, okay? When you are constantly in this battle in your spirit, the essence of my spirit is peace and love and, a grandiose life, like grandiosity. Is that a word? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's the word we use it today, grandiosity. There is nothing that I don't see as achievable. There's no limitations. But then there's this constant battle in my spirit of distrust, shrinking myself, and having this performative nature that I've developed to survive. Okay? And so constantly, the central nervous system is deregulated. Constantly, meaning you take on inordinate amount of stress, right? And as you take on an inordinate amount of stress, you do it so beautifully, it becomes like second nature to you. So you also attach a sense of self-worth to the superficial shit, because taking on high amounts of stress and performative nature, all these things become second nature to you. And so what happens is people think that that's your identity. You even start to think that's your identity. Like I even started to feel like, no, that's my identity. No, this, okay, yes, I'm as good as what I do, right? Full stop, hard pause. Okay, I'm as good as what I do. Here's all my list of accomplishments. This is what makes me good, right? This degree, this accolade, this, that. This is what makes me. Okay, these designer labels, this car, this, these trips, these passport stamps, this, this is what makes me fill in the blank. Better than, good enough, pop, and then fill in the blank. Right? And so now if I don't have those things, because I've attached my sense of worth to those things, and all that superficial shit, by the way, but now if I don't have one or all or some of those things, now where's my worth at? Ooh, that part. Right? And so then you're just floating through life, performing. You've attached your sense of self-worth to all of this superficial shit. When something, you perform so good that you feel that it's your identity, that it's who you are. So much so that even not performing feels hard for you. Like it feels like, you got to do something or be something to get love, to get understanding. Let me tell you something. Love is understanding and then accepting. So if somebody looks at me, somebody looks at you, and they say, okay, I need to try to work to understand you. I don't know you right now, so I need to try to work to understand you, right? Okay, cool. Work to understand each other. And then when they feel like they got a pretty healthy understanding of you, then they accept what they understand. See, that's love. That's love. Acceptance through understanding. Understanding somebody and then accepting them. And if you don't have that, or if you feel like you don't deserve that unless you're actually doing something, then do you ever truly feel loved? Especially if you're not doing something. So it becomes easier just to do something, just to perform, just to show up, just to be there, just to, right? Because you know deep down inside that that's the way that you get love. Now, you don't know it because that's the truth, because it's not the truth. But this is the way that you have developed in your mind is the right way to survive. And that's simply what you're doing, is surviving. That's simply what I was doing, was just surviving. And the truth of the matter is, when I go out in the world and give all this love and, all these things, show up for everybody and do this and do that, because I've attached my sense of self-worth to all of those superficial things, the performative nature, deep down inside, I got a perpetual battle with sadness. Right? And so do you. Because the truth of the matter is, it becomes easier to perform because that's how we survive. So, when you have this perpetual battle with sadness, watch this here, it don't even end there. Because for me, how that showed up was, I ended up being super strong. I'm talking about Teflon tough, baby. Strong. I could get through whatever. And because I was getting through whatever, people didn't think that I needed help. People didn't think that I needed love and compassion. I was sitting around somewhere getting I'm talking about dog walked by a man, abusing me heinously, okay, in every way, physically, mentally, sexually, financially, emotionally. Just disgusting. But because I was so strong, people had attached this strong label to me, and I attached it to me. They didn't show up the way that I really needed them to, because I'm strong. So they thought I could handle it. Their mind started going through, whatever song and dance their mind went through. Now, that piece of it is not ours to own. Okay? Let me stop that. Let me pause for the cause right there, because I want to say that to somebody again. If you are in a situation that is harmful to you and people do not show up for you to love you, that is not your fault, baby girl. It's not your fault. That's on them. Now, that's not going to help you get through what you're going through, and it's not going to help you get on the other side. Okay? I'll talk about what's going to help you get on the other side later. But I just wanted to stop and pause to kind of really, really laser focus in on that, because there's so many of you that are struggling and suffering silently, and people are not showing up for you because they think you're strong, and they're weaponizing that goddamn strength. And that's wrong. It's wrong. Because you're suffering silently. So the unspoken pain that you're feeling from being alone in that darkness, the anger that's exuding out from not feeling seen or being treated with the decency that you know deep down inside you deserve. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. But you're not getting it because people have labeled you as strong and they've weaponized that strength. See, I told y'all we was going to talk about some real shit. Now tie it all back in to the very beginning of what I said. Distrusting myself, shrinking myself, and having a performative nature led to me being super strong, having this cape, this label of being super strong. And because I'm labeled as super strong, so many times people did not show up in my darkest hours. And because they didn't, or because they failed, period, they failed. Because they failed, that translated as anger within me. That's how it came out of me. Now, out of you, it might come out as sadness. It might come out as, indifference, whatever. I don't need you. Baby, that's a form of anger too. Little do you know. But it is. But the truth behind any of those feelings is sadness. Yeah, I attached my worth to superficial shit. Yeah, I was mislabeled as all of these, angry, combative. This I told y'all, right? Just like you're being mislabeled. But the truth of the matter is, it is sadness. It is sadness. That's what you're experiencing. Now, here is where it gets really, really sticky. When you are battling with that sadness inside, deep down, you know that you need somebody. You know that you need something. But the people that you've needed all along this way that's gotten you to this point, they haven't shown up. And those people are your family. So, the next time we come together, because I'm going to pause for the calls here, because this has been a hell of a lot, a fucking lot, okay? So I'm going to pause for the calls here, because you deserve a break today. But this ties into your family, because those were the first people that were supposed to show up for you. So you're carrying around all this sadness, just like I was. I was carrying around all this sadness because the people that were supposed to show up didn't show up. So let me just cut to the chase and give you the cheat code. You know what I had to do when people didn't show up? I had to turn to God. Now I know y'all gonna say, there's some of y'all right now that's gonna turn off. You gonna turn this podcast off, honey. You gonna turn it off. Like what? Oh, she said something about God. Oh no, she said something about God. I'm turning this off. Well, listen here, baby. Let me tell you what I tell you what I know. Go on with your life. You can go ahead and turn this podcast off right now and be blessed. Because the truth of the matter is that what I just said is my ownership of my story. And what did I do? Where did I go? How did I actually get on the other side of people not showing up for me, especially my primary people? God. I'm not finna shake and bake and front with y'all and flex like it was something else. Like I went and got some crystals and did this. It was the Lord. Duh. Do you hear me? Okay? So if that offends you, I'm so sorry. Not sorry. Not sorry. Okay? You can go ahead and turn it off now. Because I wanted to give you that spoiler alert. Right? Now we're going to talk about how you navigate through family when they don't show up for you the way that you need them to. Because do you know that there is actually a way to do so in love, in grace, and in peace? So you can hold yourself, hold somebody accountable, and still move with love, with grace, with kindness, right? With power and with strength. Watch this here. With that same acceptance and understanding that you needed, you can still give that even when it's not given to you. So, the next time we come together, we're going to talk about how that looks with family, okay? And we really going to talk about first things first. We're going to talk about the thing that a lot of people don't talk about. It's very taboo. See, dads get a bad rap already. Why? I don't know. That's been happening way before I came along. Way before I got here. Okay? But the one thing that people often mistake, and don't talk about a lot is that mama trauma. So, we're going to tap in and we're going to talk about that the next time we come together because it's real. Okay? So until then, yes, I am putting a pause for the cause today because this has been heavy, right? I know. But girl, we got to lock arms to walk and talk together. And hell, if we can't talk real, then what is we talking for, right? So, until next time, remember that I love you, but not as much as you should love yourselves. Until next time, lovies.